Giannis Antetokounmpo has loyalty in his blood. He signed a supermax contract with the Milwaukee Bucks, so shout out to him. That's a big deal, the biggest contract in NBA history. And he made the right decision for him and his family. And that's what you have to be proud of if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, we're talking about the basketball side of things. That's a different story, but it doesn't surprise me that Giannis signed a supermax. As humble as his upbringing and his story off the court, on the court, Giannis is a totally different player in person. He has an ego, so it doesn't surprise me that he signed a supermax contract, because he probably looked himself in the mirror and he probably felt that I could be the best player on a championship caliber team, and he wants to do things his way as being the number one go-to guy, because a lot of that has to do with, you know, the media hyping up Giannis, him being a media darling, him winning back-to-back MVPs, being the first player in a long time to win the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. So the NBA, I feel like the NBA media kind of casts this narrative on Giannis to make him feel some of these the way that he does, and also to make, you know, the general public feel the way that they feel about Giannis Antetokounmpo. A lot of that had to do with them wanting the Milwaukee Bucks to keep their superstar and to give these awards to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not saying he did not earn them, but it was a lot of questionable decisions for us in MVPs with the James Harden, the 2019 season, and also this Defensive Player of the Year with the Anthony Davis. And even this MVP was a little iffy with LeBron James and what he was doing with the Los Angeles Lakers. But he won all those awards, and the media kind of won because we have a superstar who basically signed away his prime to play in a small market team, and we normally do not see that in the NBA, especially in this new NBA where it seems like a lot of superstars are leaving to go and give themselves a best chance to win multiple championships and be in a city that they really want to be in. Giannis said the total opposite. And Giannis says he wants to win, and he wants to win championships and multiple championships. And then he signs with the Milwaukee Bucks. But you can't look at his teammates and you can't look at the roster really, because he's had a championship caliber roster for the past 2 years. You got to look at Giannis. Giannis has to improve. We saw Chris Middleton win a game versus the Miami Heat, and the Bucks are like a better offense and a better team without him on the basketball court when it mattered the most. That's not great if you're a superstar. So Giannis is going to have to get better. That's why I hated the people who were saying, like, if he leaves, it's no different than LeBron James or Kevin Durant leaving. And that just shows me that a lot of people don't watch basketball, don't understand basketball, and really just look at the narratives. Kevin Durant did everything he could do for the Oklahoma City Thunder. LeBron James did everything he could do for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They maxed out their skill, maxed out their ability. They were flawless on every aspect of their game, and they took their teams to an NBA Finals. Then they decided to leave. They decided to put their careers in their own hands. When we look at Giannis in that situation, people are trying to make it seem like he did what KD and LeBron James did when he acted like we just had seen him for the past 2 years struggle in the playoffs and become a shell of himself for what he looked like in the regular season. So, but at the end of the day, this is good for Giannis Antetokounmpo because it's probably going to put a lot of pressure on him to actually really get in the lab and really improve on his skill and on his game. Because if you look at it, the last time we really seen like a superstar like sign his prime away was with Kevin Garnett. And when Kevin Garnett did that, it was very similar to Giannis. He got his money, but Kevin Garnett was also one of the most skilled power forwards to ever play the game and most skilled players to ever play the game. Even though he was supremely gifted athletically. When we look at Giannis, Giannis is supremely gifted athletically, one of the biggest freaking natures we've ever seen in the history of the NBA, but his skill set is still very raw. So it's very important for Giannis to work on his skill set over the next 5 years. So just in case he's in a Kevin Garnett situation, which this situation kind of is going to remind me of. So he has to really work on his game and improve his craft and at least become a consistent scorer at the second level on the basketball court to give him the opportunity just in the future, once his athletic prime starts to diminish and starts to drop, to actually be able to probably go to a different team and probably to still be, you know, maybe not the best player on that team, or maybe the second best player on the team, and possibly help them win a championship. The Bucks are going to be fine because they still have a championship caliber roster. I just don't see them winning the finals, potentially this year or next year with the Brooklyn Nets and the other teams in the Eastern Conference. But you never know what's going to happen in the third, fourth, or fifth year of his contract. So they have right now, you got They were the best team in the East the past 2 years. They're going to be a top 2, top 3 seed, top 1, top 2, top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference this year. You have 3 two-way players in Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, and Jrue Holiday. So there's really no excuses for Giannis for them not to even make it at least to the Eastern Conference Finals. He has the pieces, he has the team, but I just don't believe from a skill standpoint that Giannis right now is going to help the Milwaukee Bucks get over that hurdle and get over that hump. So him signing this super contract is him saying that he thinks he can be the best player on the championship caliber team, one. And number two, him feeling that, you know what, it really wasn't my team. It really wasn't the roster. It really wasn't, the players we had. We had a championship caliber team. It's really was me. I had to improve on my game. I had to get better at the game of basketball. I had to get better at my skill set. I believe in myself and my ability that I'm going to do so in this next 5 years in this next large contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. And if he believes that, then you have to respect that, and you have to hope that he's going to go out and he's going to max out on his skill and max out on his potential and possibly bring a championship to the Milwaukee Bucks. Do I believe it's going to happen based on everything I've seen in the past 5 years? When I'm looking at Giannis from a skill set standpoint, an eye test standpoint, and looking at it seems like he's improved on his raw stats, but not his actual overall game. Do I believe he's going to really do that in the next 5 years? I really don't know, but it's not necessarily what I believe, and what I've seen in the past is what he's going to do in the future.